I remember quite vividly exactly where I was, to having the battery of allergy tests done on my back, and then being so excited that I would get those results and I would know. Now I would know. And they came back and nothing popped up. And I remember thinking, how is this possible? How is this possible? The first time I had hives that I can remember, I was in my 20s in my first house out of undergrad and living just outside of DC. You know, really living the life I thought that I definitely wanted at 23. And I woke up with large, painful, very itchy welts in the shape of my undergarments, the exact shape of my undergarments. And I knew immediately that they were hives. I remember quite vividly at the time how difficult it was for me to get care, even for hives at that point. I remember waiting on the phone for over an hour to speak to someone at urgent care. I really thought at the time that these would just be completely manageable, that this was just something like a bad headache, that you went to the doctor for, you got medication, and then it was resolved. And then it started to come back in my 30s, several bouts of this, I would say, but that would resolve when I would go and get sort of I would say the normal package that they gave us back then. You would get, steroids and antihistamines, and I was quite thankful to have all of those on board, I will say that. In my 40s, I started having chronic episodes. So before I was having acute episodes, fewer than 6 weeks. When I got to my 40s, these episodes lasted longer than 6 weeks. So for me, the last one was about 6 months. I didn't know what to do when they became chronic. It did not fit the formula. I went through the same route. Urgent care always was my first stop because usually I could not wait to see a doctor. That I can remember vividly sitting on the couch and not being able to have a sheet on top of me or to have clothing on. Bathing was an oppressive process because all you were doing was making your skin angry by cleaning it. For me, the unpredictability of it is probably the worst. Symptoms come first on that list of things that are difficult to deal with, but not knowing when it will come back is very difficult to deal with because it's so debilitating. So in my 40s, when they became chronic, I was initially so desperate. And when that sort of package we had always used failed, the steroids, the antihistamines at much higher doses, I did not know what to do next. And I think it took for me going to the right allergist who said to me, there are other options available to you. You do not have to stay with what you were using when you were 25. She was the first person that had told me about biologics. And that is ultimately what set me on the course to get to the point where I am now. The level of anxiety and mood disturbance that this can lead to should not be ignored. Not every physician attends to that. Not everyone is asking you about how you feel. And sometimes that's the worst part of it. I think the other thing I really wish that someone had given me early on was hope. I don't think I felt that measure of hope until this last person who said to me, we have something else we can offer you. And it didn't have to be a panacea. It just had to be some hope. We now have other options we know will be available to us. We didn't even have that. And I think 30 years ago, the person I was then, we were using sedating antihistamines. This is the time for hope, because there's so much that is coming down the pike for us. And there's so much hope that's attached to all of this. I feel so lucky that I found people who are as passionate about helping others with chronic urticaria as I am. And with these people, I've been able to co-found We See You. This is the hope, this is the community that we always knew was there, but that did not have a home. And that's what We See You is able to offer. I'd love it if people were to come to visit us at We See You. Our website is chronic-urticaria.org. I am able to bring my personal experience to the organization as executive director, and the passion I have for making it so other people don't feel like they're lost or odd or abandoned or worthless or whatever it is that they experience. They know that they have a place where people understand them and that they're working hard to make sure their lives are different. That is a gift.